Hey everyone, it's great to be with you. Today is our weekly update. Here it is Wednesday. Just want to give you kind of a heads up on where we're headed for the 17th. And so I'll start off and just give you some service information, okay? Service information, here's what we expect when we come together on the 17th. The sanctuary set up, I don't know, I'll step aside, maybe you can see back here. We've got the sanctuary set up with social distancing guidelines in place. We've got groups of 2, 3, 4, 5, I think we got a group of 8. So I just encourage you, get a group together, and it could just be your family. It's with what you feel comfortable with, okay? We're not gonna mandate that. If you come in with some friends that maybe you've met with and you wanna come to church together as friends, that's totally your call, okay? It's just that when you come here, there'll be somebody that'll kind of help guide you into the sanctuary, okay? And then realize that we don't have yet in this second phase, we're calling it an internal second phase. For the 17th through June 6th, we're not going to have childcare, children's ministry provided, right? So just realize that doesn't mean you can't bring your child. It just means that when you come, just realize that there's not going to be childcare for your child, okay, at this stage in this, whatchamacallit, right? Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable coming because you're not feeling well or something like that, stay home, watch it online. We're still going to be broadcasting online, but then I also want you to make note of the time change. 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. First service is 9. We'll go from 9 to 10. We're going to deep clean, and then from 11 to 12 will be the second service. We'll be good to go. We're going to come together. We're going to worship God. Here's what you can expect of us. This place, I'm telling you what, it's sterile. Well, probably not fully sterile, but it's about as good as you can get with carpet and cloth and all that sort of stuff. So a good, safe environment. And the sanctuary is already lined out, right? So for social distancing. And then the greatest thing is we're going to have a great word. We're gonna worship God. We're gonna have great worship. We're gonna celebrate communion together. And I'm gonna tell you what, heaven's gonna bend low, kiss the earth, and I believe we're gonna get caught in the middle of the smack, and it's gonna be wonderful to be together. I'm looking so forward to it. So that's the update side of kind of the technical stuff. Now, can I speak to you as a pastor for just a little bit? There's some things that I just think are important to understand. So last week on the 3rd, many churches in Idaho, some churches here in Twin Falls, started on the 3rd. Thank God, that's awesome. We didn't. We're starting on the 17th. I'll just be real honest with you. I got quite a bit of blowback on that. I got blowback on both sides of the issue. Pastor, I'm so glad we didn't. I'm so glad we didn't do it because I'm not ready yet. Then on the other side, some pretty tough comments. Is like, man, so you're just a wuss. You're just caving in. I can't believe it. I mean, to the degree that some people are even saying, if your church didn't start on the 3rd, you need to find a new church. You know what? Can I just be real honest? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. All right? That's saying, like, if you belong to a family and something happens within the family, you just leave the family. How smart's that? And so here's where I'd give some pastoral advice, and it might come across pretty strong, but I'll just say this. Somebody that has an idea like that, they're doing something that's really elementary. They're confusing theology with politics. They're thinking that May 3rd was a doctrinal issue, and it's not. So, you know what? I'm called as a minister of the gospel. We're called as a church to preach the word. And unfortunately, so much of this pandemic, and listen, somebody could ask me privately what I think about the pandemic, and I may or may not tell them, right? I have some ideas about it that I think are whatever. But you know what? We lead people. And here's the thing that's really important. Some people say, well, we're all in the same boat. And I say we're not in the same boat. I say we're in the same storm, right? But the truth of the matter is not everybody's in the same boat, because there's some of you that are watching. This pandemic hasn't affected you at all. Your boat's good. Hasn't affected you at all. So your view of looking at the storm is from a safe, no big deal. Nothing's changed for you. But there's other people, and if you belong to this church, Amazing Grace, I'll guarantee you there's some people in this church that aren't riding out this storm the same storm, they're not doing it the way you are because their boat's different. So that's why I say we're in a different boat. All of us are in a different boat. Their boat, in fact, your boat may just be fine. It's just navigating right along. Nothing's really changed for you. But I'm going to tell you what, there's some that their boat's been capsized and they're struggling to survive. And so when they look at the storm, you look at the storm and go, what's the big deal? They're looking at the storm and it's rocked their world. It's changed their life forever. And so that's why we can't apply this one size fits all. And really and truly, I guess I can't say that it's hurt me. It's not hurt me. I just look at it and I'm just saddened by the way some people respond on what they think of churches. And the idea that if we didn't start on May 3rd, that somehow we've capitulated and now we've just given up our conservative values and now we've just entered that liberal, mamby-pamby, whatever world. But you know what? I could name you a ton of churches that are phenomenal churches in America, that are nationally recognized churches that aren't starting until August. So are we going to brand them and say, well, they've too capitulated? And so is the mark of non-capitulation that you start your church at May 3rd? That's kind of, I don't know. It's the view from the boat that those people are looking in. It's just that it's important that we realize through this that we still be people of grace. Can people have a different opinion than you and still be okay? I think they can. And so we can still be kind, we can still be graceful. And for us here, I'll just tell you, here at Amazing Grace Fellowship, and I won't say anything about any of the staff because it all rests on me. I'll just say this, you know, am I perfect? Not at all. Have I ever navigated this before? No, never have. So we're just making calls to the best of our ability on a couple levels. So do we just only look at one area? No. We try to take all the information, bring that before the Lord and say, Father, what is your desire? And I know some of you are listening right now and say, well, if you really heard God, you would have. I get it. But I'm not you. And so the decisions we've made to start on the 17th is made with the best intention, the best heart. And what I just won't do is I won't compromise the gospel. I'm not going to compromise our coming together at all. We are going to be following the guidelines until those guidelines are lifted or whatever. And you may have some very strong opinions regarding that. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm still going to be kind, right? So anyhow, I just hope, guys, let's just look at where we are. Let's thank God where we are. Thank God that we get to come together on the 17th. You got 2 opportunities at 9 and 11. Next week, same thing. In June, starting our phase 3, June 7th, I think, is when we're going to have children's ministry going again. So praise the Lord. It's going to be awesome. So listen, I love you, and just hope those thoughts maybe help sort of navigate through this.